So one of our speakers that was on the program that has finally just gotten here, he's Dr. Gedicks. He's been instrumental in what we've been doing since the beginning. He's going to come up and talk for a little bit about mining. Dr. Gedicks?
Thank you, guys. It's a pleasure to be here at the historic gathering of native and non-native people. In a long line of gatherings of native and non-native people in the Midwest, the Upper Great Lakes region, that have significantly and substantially reshaped the way that mining companies understand the risks associated with the kind of sulfide mining that is being proposed here in Michigan. In Wisconsin, we have defeated half a dozen of these metallic sulfide mining projects, the largest of which was the Crandon Mine project, which lasted for 28 years, but resulted in a substantial and world-significant victory of an alliance between native and non-native people against 5 multinational corporations who discounted the unity that could be arranged to oppose these kind of projects by native and non-native people. In fact, not only did the Exxon Crandon project get defeated, but the 2 tribes that were on the direct line of fire, the Mole Lake, Chicago Chippewa, and the Forest County Potawatomi, now own the mineral rights to the land that was going to be developed into the largest copper zinc metallic sulfide mine in North America, at the headwaters of the Wolf River and a mile upstream from their sacred wild rice. And in so doing, they have set an historical precedent, because now the mining industry is keenly aware of the strength of grassroots resistance. And this is what this gathering is all about: bringing together the grassroots activists who are not going to be intimidated by the Michigan Department of Environmental Quality's preliminary approval of this mine project on the basis of no information whatsoever. The Michigan Department of Environmental Quality has made a decision about this mine project before all the scientific studies have been collated and analyzed, and the public has had an opportunity to evaluate and to challenge these studies. What they're trying to do is to intimidate the opposition, because they understand quite clearly that the longer this process goes on, the more people are going to be opposed to this project, and the greater the chance that this project will be defeated. And that is simply anathema. That is simply unacceptable to Michigan regulators, and it's unacceptable to Aquila, and it's unacceptable to the entire mining industry, because the whole strategy of the mining industry is to demonstrate that grassroots opposition can be defeated decisively. And so far, they have failed to do so. I just downloaded a study from the internet from Ernest Young. Ernest Young is one of the major consultants to the international mining industry. They put out a report called 10 Top Business Risks Facing Mining and Metals 2016 to 2017. There are 3 top items on the list, all which have to do with financing and productivity, which is something that we have no control over. The 4th item, the 4th major risk project or risk factor for international mining companies is called a social license to operate. And what that means is unless projects like this have the support of the people who are most directly impacted by these projects, whether they be local people in the immediate area or downstream, or people that have, as the Menominee, have ancestral ties to this area, unless they have the support of those groups, these projects are very risky investments that have time and again failed to return an investment for the mining industry. Whether it's in Latin America or in the upper Midwest, those projects which have gone ahead without the support of local communities are financially at risk of being a boondoggle or a total financial collapse for the investors in these projects. And so the fact that the Michigan Department of Environmental Quality has given a preliminary approval for the project means absolutely nothing in terms of what we understand as the social license to operate. In fact, even if the final project goes ahead. Worst case scenario, they have a public hearing, all our comments are ignored, Michigan goes ahead, grants a permit. That's not the end of the battle. That's only the beginning. And the reason is because even after the state has made its decision, that legal permit has absolutely no political value if there is significant grassroots opposition. So do not be intimidated at the process which is designed to grant the permit regardless of the scientific validity of the project or the claims of the Menominee tribe to the ancestral and archaeological remains at the site. Those concerns can be swept aside. What cannot be swept aside is the motivation to preserve that water and to preserve those historic ties and cultural ties to the area. That cannot be destroyed by the Michigan Department of Environmental Quality, and it cannot be overridden by Kilo Resources or the financial backers. And so one of the things we're going to do after this gathering is gather up all the editorials and the letters to the editors and the op-ed pieces in Michigan, Wisconsin, and send them to Orion, which is the financial hedge fund that is fronting several $100 million, which Aquila does not have, to go through the permit process. And we're going to tell them this project does not have a social license to operate, and if you continue investing in this, you're going to defraud your investors of all of their investment, because this project is never going to go ahead. And of course, I'm sure everyone is aware of the resurgence of indigenous identity and indigenous rights, not just here in the Midwest, but in North Dakota, with the Dakota Access Pipeline. We have an historic gathering of native and non-native against the fossil fuel industry. In Latin America, in Asia, in Africa, we have indigenous people all over the world who are asserting their right to free, prior, informed consent. And if that free, prior, informed consent is not given, those projects will not go ahead. And so we are part of an international movement that is raising a significant challenge to the entire logic of the money-grubbing mining industry, which sees only profit and ignores the water, ignores the land, and ignores the people. That is a paradigm, that is a model which is no longer viable, and this gathering is another reminder of the invalidity, the unrepresentative model that has nothing to say about all the values that bring us together and that will defeat this project. Thank you.